the meetings. At the meetings, go to the practice field, practice, come home, get undressed, get something to eat. And then after that, it was really just orange bar activities. And then after that, we done for the day.
Derek, this might be a game that's both defensive lines end up controlling at some point in the game. How much thought did you put into that? And then given Michigan has a pretty solid defensive line as well.
Um, honestly, I was just thinking about just we guys gotta do our jobs. And anything can happen in a football game. That's just point blank. So you just gotta be ready for anything.
When you look at their offensive line, I mean, in years past, it struggled the past couple of years. It seems like they've kind of put things together, able to run the ball a little bit more, protect the quarterback more. How much do you guys think about that as far as, paying attention on film and knowing what they've improved upon, what they still need to improve upon?
I mean, as a defensive player, you really do need to focus on the offensive line and the whole offense in general. I feel like they really, like you said, they improved on running the ball, and that's a credit to the offensive line, open up gaps for the cornerbacks to run into. Like I said, they really improved with their alignment. They're really getting better. They've gotten really better, and I'm really impressed with that. And I feel like it will be a good matchup when we face them.
What about their offense stands out most, maybe not only to you personally, but you guys as a team? Is there one thing about their offense that you guys feel like you need to focus on or kind of highlight a little bit?
I mean, it's really. I mean, like our whole offense. I mean, every position has the main thing you got to focus on. Like defense, a little defensive line, you got to worry about the offensive line, running back, quarterback. Vice versa with DBs, worry about the wide receivers and such. We just honestly, we just got to do our job and control what we can control.
How much of a focus has Jabril Peppers been for you in these preparations?
Um, he is, but he isn't. Take nothing against him. He's a great player. He's a great athlete. Great credit to him. He worked hard for it. But with anything, like with me as a defensive player, defensive lineman, I gotta focus on the offensive line first. And then when there's a time that we have focus on him, we'll focus on him. Like it's just simple as that. Like if there's a situation that we need to focus on him, then we'll focus on him. That's all.
You guys ended up finishing winning like eight out of final 9 games, something like that, after 2-3 start. I mean, what was the moment do you feel like was the aha moment or something that kind of turned it around this year?
I feel like it was really like right after the UNC game because like when the season anything, the best way to learn it from any lesson is a loss. So like it really takes a lot to really get you back on your feet to realize what's going on, realize like what you're really doing, so you can really turn things around. And after that, it just started rolling.
You feel like maybe it's better to get the loss out of the way earlier in the year as opposed, Michigan losing 2 in November. As a team, do you feel like maybe, getting that done earlier or losing earlier in the year, does this make a difference as opposed to losing later in the year?
In my opinion, I feel like it does. I feel like honestly, a loss then the year really kind of messes you up. I feel like it would with me, honestly. Getting the loss out in the beginning of the year, even though you really don't want to get a loss, obviously. Right. But if you have to, I feel like it's better to get it in the early in the year so you can really work on that, fix any mistakes that's happened, so you become even better by the time the season's over.
Derek, even though DeMarcus has put up big numbers, it seems like sometimes people doubt him. He feels like people doubt him sometimes. Do you any thoughts on why that people wouldn't recognize him as one of the best defensive ends?
I really don't know, honestly, because he put in the work, and as you see, he's led the nation in sacks. So I don't know. There's no doubt in my mind that he's one of the best defensive players in the country.
But he's not, I guess, because he's not 6'5" or 6'6".
I mean, people think the way they want to think. So either way, I know he's gonna be successful in the next level. So that's all that matters.
But you know what it's like being a defensive lineman, like he's playing 80, 90 snaps a game. I mean, you're not doing that, right? I mean, how crazy is that?
That is something crazy. I mean, with him, he just gets the job done. Like honestly,
Are you amazed though that physically he's able to do that? I mean, none of the rest of you guys are doing it, right? I mean, the rest of you guys rotate more than he does.
yeah. But between all the D tackles and me and him get the majority of the reps. Yeah. But with him, I'm not really surprised because like the past 2 years, kind of this year, last year, during the offseason, he had a really impressive workout regimen, and it's really shown on the field that he can really push through, playing all those snaps, playing all those plays.
Was it tough for you to try to keep up with his workout? And was it too tough to do that, or?
No, like when he goes to work out, he'll be out. He goes back home during the off season. Jacksonville's not that far away from Tallahassee, so it's not a problem for him to go back home.
So what's his crazy workout regimen? What is that? You know?
I don't know.
Okay.
What was your first impression when you saw the tape, when you saw this big fullback for Michigan, that's sort of their short yardage back, and was been able to see catch Split Hill at all in the tape?
I'm only I don't really be focusing on fullback as much. I'm really focused on the offensive line. That's the people I'm be going against every single snap. But he's a impressive fullback honestly, and he can open that gap for that running back. He can get the job done.
And as far as Michigan's quarterback's pretty big, 6'7". I know you said you focus on the offensive line. But what are the challenges when you're going up against such a bigger quarterback versus a guy like Deshaun Watson and Lamar Jackson?
With a bigger quarterback, you really just gotta get both hands on, because you can't just simply just come on and grab a big dude like that. Like that's not gonna work. You gotta get the whole. Well, with me, my whole 312 pounds type of thing, because you can't just try to arm grab it. It's not really, like I said, it's not gonna work. You can just shake it off, things like that. So you really gotta stay with technique and both hands wrap around so you can get them down.
Penalty wise, I mean, they had a couple moments this year, but as far as Michigan's offensive line is concerned, pretty disciplined throughout the season. How much of an issue, or not an issue, but like a focus, knowing that they're not going to really make any mistakes, and they're going to do what they can to try to get you guys to jump offside and encroach, that kind of stuff. How much do you think about that? The little mental game, in the trenches.
I'm not really focused on that at all. Like honestly, we just stay focused on what we're doing. We stay disciplined, stay focused on what we're doing. Like I said, it shouldn't be a problem. When we're looking at what we're looking, with the front line, for instance, we're looking at what we're looking at the ball, kind of our man, with the offensive lineman. We're trying to be jumping outside, so I'm not really worried about that.
How important is it? I mean, of course, football, game of inches, controlling the trenches. How important is that to you guys as far as dominating the line of scrimmage?
I mean, the trenches is really what gives that's how people win the game, win or loss. Because the whole game is controlled by the trenches. If you have a good O-line, a good D-line, you're going to have a good football team. Like, look at the Dallas Cowboys right now. They have a great offensive line, and they're getting Ezekiel Elliott tons and tons of yardage every game. So it's really based on the lineman every single game that shows if you're going to win or lose the game.
You guys, your own success this year seems like the D-line has had a lot to do with that. It was the past couple of years going from a group that wasn't racking up a lot of sacks to leading the nation in that number. What's been the biggest turnaround in that regard?
I feel like we've just been really working hard. Honestly, it's pretty much like that. We put in the work. We've just been really focusing. We've been listening to our coaches, technique-wise. I feel like that's just about it, honestly.
Coach, line changed a lot technique-wise with you guys?
It's more of a combination with Coach Line and Coach Higgins, because he be giving me a lot of information, like a lot of ways to improve my pass rush with my hands and everything. And then I get a little bit of information from Coach Line as well, with certain disengage moves, about pass rush type of things. Yeah.
It's more like individual kind of custom fit, what's best for you type of instruction then?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, he did, Coach Higgins does ask me just to try certain things, see how they do.
Yeah. What one of those has really stuck for you?
I
Don't want to reveal the tricks.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I want to ask about DeMarcus too, and you guys both kind of coming up and hitting your stride at the same time to a certain degree. How has he been? How have you been at taking on a bigger role and playing more snaps and figuring out how to do that this year? It seems like that was a challenge for him, especially.
Are you talking about Marcus Walker?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, with him, in my opinion, I feel like I already knew he was gonna have a great year this year, based on his year last year, because it was impressive what it did last year.
Right.
And coming out after that season, I knew he was gonna work just as harder as he did last year in the offseason. So when he came back, I already knew what it was about. So him coming into the season, I was really surprised. I wasn't really. Yeah, like I said, I was really surprised what he was gonna do this year. So I already know that's what he's gonna do.
He was talking about taking the physical side more seriously and taking care of his body and all that kind of stuff. When did you see him start to do that? Did you notice that
In the offseason, honestly.
this year?
Yes, sir. He'll always talk about how he doesn't eat like greasy food like that. He eats a lot of he cooks everything he makes. He eats a lot of fruit, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
They stay on the healthy side.
Does he cook for you guys? You answer this carefully.
Yes and no. Sometimes, but yes, sometimes. Let's say sometimes.
Okay, what is he? I mean, is it bad food? Is that why
Oh
you?
no. Like, I'm not gonna lie, he can go down.
Okay.
But it's just sometimes he just don't be trying to prepare it. So,
Okay, he's
but I
agree
do-
with
I do
it.
that.
Got you. What's his specialty when he makes something for you?
I don't even know just about anything, honestly.
Okay.
Derek, how much do you think about the contrast in styles? I mean, Jim Harbaugh's kind of brought back that power football mentality, that smash mouth, whatever you want to call it. It's a little bit, different than what you guys see on a week-to-week basis, probably. What do you think about the contrast in styles?
I mean, you have to deal with different type of styles throughout the season, so you just gotta be ready for it. I don't really have anything against it. But honestly, it's kind of exciting to go against it. Honestly.
Can you compare them to any other team that maybe you've played this year or throughout your career? Do they remind you of anybody on tape?
I mean, offensive line wise, it kind of reminds me of Boston College a little bit.
And what specifically kind of ties those two together for you?
Because with how they do it, it's like really trying to get a lot of movement on the opposite side, opposite line. So I feel like they're doing the same thing.
Appreciate it, Derek. Thanks.